Hey guys, my name is Joseph Park, and today I found a new post from on Reddit by a username mr underscore GRIMMEX. Is asking, is it worth it to pay off my car? And I owe about 6,000 more. I owe about $6,000 more on my car, 2017 car. I have about $30,000 in savings. Looking at the numbers, my scheduled payoff would be March 2025, roughly about 22, 23 months left from current date. If I drop 6,000 to pay off my car, it will be the extra $265 I would be saving a month. Would still make about 2 years to recoup. I don't see the advantage in actually paying it off now. Would I just be avoiding paying the interest, and is that even worth it? And so, before I begin, I want to actually say thank you. Only reason for that is because by me looking into this and actually preparing to make this video, I was doing some math and I actually learned something, which it was kind of surprising to me. So a little bit more on this is that he mentioned that in the reply to this, some of the posts, his current interest rate is about 5.15%. He said he was paying $265 a month, and also he's looking to get married in about a year or so. I think he said he wants to buy a house in 2 to 3 years from now. I think he's looking to get married and move out in 2 to 3 years from now. Ideally he wants to purchase a house. So he wants to save up for that. Yeah, he is getting married next year, so planning to move in the next 2 to 3 years. Saving a down payment on a new house. So I took the math or the numbers that he kind of provided, which is, he wants to pay it. He's scheduled to get it paid off in 2025 March. So that would give us about 22, maybe 23 payments. Depends on if he made the payment for the month of May or not. His interest rate, he said it was 5.15%. He said that the payment is $265 a month. I'm guessing is not exactly $265 per month. And also the balance or the payoff is about $6,000. I'm guessing it's a little bit less than that. But according to my calculation, I came up with is about $5,500, a little bit over $5,500 for the balance. Assuming 22 payments with the $265 monthly payment. Now, when I do the AM schedule on this, from let's say starting June of 2023 until he pays it off, his total interest that he would have paid in the next 22 months would be about $278, right? And which is, if you just, create an Excel sheet, I can kind of post it here so you guys can take a look. Versus if you were to take the same amount of dollars, which is $5,500, maybe a little bit more than that because the per diem and stuff. But if you were to take the same $5,500, and let's say he puts that into a high yield savings account, let's say at a, 4.5%. I think the average right now is about 4.5%, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depends on the bank that you use or the Vine and the by the time you get it and stuff like that. Roughly, it will give you about $20 per month, a little bit over $20 per month in interest, which will be compounding over the next 22, 23 months, I guess. And what it does is that, according to my calculation, he will be saving almost $460, or he will be getting about $460 in interest for the same duration. So in my opinion, since he has that cash, not that he doesn't have any other cash, but he actually does have, he mentioned $30,000 in cash that he would like to, use that to pay it off. I think it would be better off by, if he already has it in a high yield savings account, he can just leave it in there. Or if he doesn't, then he can actually transfer that over to that, high yield savings account and have it accrued or the compound interest and get a little bit higher interest money back. Now, of course, I also looked at a little bit lower rate as well, just because the monies are a little bit different. Even at 3% interest rate, he'll be getting actually over $300 in total interest back, which means still he'd be better off by going that direction, right? One thing I do want to actually say that though is that, of course, this is the case if your current cash flow is actually pretty stable, right? Assuming the 30,000 is your emergency fund, and it sounds like you're still living with your parents and stuff like that, which I think we're good to go. Assuming you're not, short on, the wedding and all of that, the honeymoon and that sort of stuff. Obviously you want to, store for something like that. But as far as your current cash flow is concerned, as long as you're saving, not saving that extra $265 per month, make or break your personal finances from now till next 22 months, I think you're actually better off in this particular case not paying it off just because the interest rate you'll be getting from, high yield savings account is actually a lot better. Now, also another thing is that, of course, the reason right now the high yield savings account has high interest is because the interest rates are so high, right? And it's because of the inflation and all this stuff. And who knows, maybe the interest rate will go back down in the near future just because, such a unpredictable market we're in and stuff like that. I don't get, paid for this, but I actually found on discover.com. I didn't know they had CDs. Well, I guess that makes sense that they have a CDs, but they have a certificate of deposit, which basically they're borrowing the money from you or you're lending them the money, and they, use that money to do whatever it is that they need to do. In turn, they give you an interest back to you as if you're the bank and they're borrowing the money from you type of thing. And currently they're offering 18 months term at 4.75% APY and 24 months at a 4.3% APY, which means obviously, you're getting a little bit better return, and it's actually fixed, right? So even if the interest rate goes up or down, that money is pretty safe as is, again, assuming if you don't need to, pull that money out anytime soon, right? Now, the other factor into that is, of course, on that money, the interest you'll be accruing, you would have to pay tax on that, right? So, of course, if you consider that into consideration, of course, there's this little bit of additional calculation you have to do. I actually did one simply for 4.3% for 24 months at a tax rate of 20%. I don't know what your tax bracket looks like and effective tax rates and all that. Obviously, talk to your CPA and stuff. But assuming it's 20%, your effective rate after the tax will be about 3.44. In this case, you still be better off because, as I mentioned earlier, even at 3%, you're better off. So at 3.44%, it looks like you're getting about 350 rather than 278 that you would have to pay in the loan that you'd be keeping. And so, again, in this particular case, I think it's actually much better for you to actually not pay off the auto and just invest that money or somewhere, whether it's a high yield savings account or buying a CD and sort of things like that, which I think is a better option for you. Of course, there are other calculations, stuff like that. Of course, my numbers could be off by a little bit based on your current monthly payment and stuff. But I was kind of surprised is because I always thought, kind of like some of the other users have said, that if your interest rate is at X amount of percent or higher, you're always better off by doing it that way, right? But I think what I'm learning here is that yes, of course, everybody knows the higher the rate, the worse it is, the lower the rate, the better it is when it comes to debt. But along with that, what we need to kind of consider is the time that's left on the debt. So right, time is actually a very, very crucial piece of the calculation. And so it's always good to actually do the math, kind of figure out, okay, how many months do I have left? What kind of cash flow do I have? What kind of, extra money that I have to make the money back versus not? And you can actually, plug it in and kind of see, you could say, the difference is so little, it's probably better to pay it off, which makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, if you were to look at it like, dollar by dollar, number by number, I really think this is actually a better option if you're trying to optimize everything. Of course, they would actually disagree and say, hey, you want to just pay it off. That way you have a peace of mind and that sort of things, which I agree as well. I think at the end of the day, the difference here isn't that drastic, where I think you got to be opening up a new account and doing this and doing that for a difference of about what, $70-$80. Again, if you say it's a lot of money, it is definitely a lot of money. If you say it's a lot of money, it is not that much of a difference. But again, mathematically, to see the thing here, so like if you take that into a bigger number like a mortgage, I haven't done the math yet, but I'm sure there's a big advantage at a certain point to try to pay it off as much as you can, or pay it down as much as you can. And once your balance goes down to so many dollars, at some point it just wouldn't make sense. Maybe you can put that money towards somewhere else. I don't know, I haven't done the math yet. So that's that's for this. Hope this kind of helps. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, comments, please leave it, and consider subscribing. Thank you.